No, the only other talent I really have is like I can play Guitar Hero, I guess. I can speedrun Pogo Suck. I can give really encouraging speeches and pep talks in regards to Melee. He went 0-5 in ranked. Okay, how would I spitball a motivational speech? God, it's hard to do on the spot. How long have you been playing? And what made you start playing Melee? I just see like a couple more factors and I can pull this shit out of my ass. What character do you play to? And what are your goals? Those are like that's enough. Ow. I'm a Falco and I want to win an amateur tournament. Well, the good news I have for you is that winning any individual ranked set does not mean anything towards like your future, I guess, right? I think the easiest thing is actually to think about on the other side. When you think about a really big win, something that you're really proud of or whatever, such as like, I mean, for me, it's like, of course, I was really happy whenever I beat Mango for the first time like that, or I mean, that was the only time I beat him in a tournament. But the reality is that I actually didn't change it as a player for winning that set. If I lost that set, I would have been the exact same player because like you gain no like stat buffs or like there's no experience points you get like for winning. Like in video games, a lot of time it's like, oh, if you win the game, you get more experience points or whatever. But that's not how the real world works at all. It's important to not like associate too much of your path based on like, oh, okay, I won one set, like, or I won like, you know, if you won all 5 of those ranked games, you would have been just as close to winning the amateur bracket as you would have as you do currently right now. So it's important to understand that like it's just really playing those games that'll like, okay, cool, now you can go look at it and you can see like, okay, so what's the main thing I need to work on? The answer is probably your tech skill because you play Falco. If anything, like regardless of the outcome of any of those games, you have literally made the same amount of progress as you would have if you had won. So really, despite losing, you're still in just as good of a spot as you would have if you won. And it sucks, and it's not to tell you that, oh, you should feel good about losing, because like technically losing doesn't matter, because like you could still learn just as much. In fact, you learn more from your losses than you do your wins, a lot of the time. But that doesn't mean that losing doesn't suck, because it does. At the end of the day, you know, when you play Melee, especially like in a ranked mode or in a tournament, you're performing, you know, you have put time and like effort into this craft, and there's no amount of pep talk that'll magically make losing feel any better. What I can tell you is that what losing is basically, it's kind of a status effect. I think Day9 put it best, where he was talking to his mom about like he had like really bad rage issues. If you don't know, Day9's a StarCraft player. He had really bad rage issues when he played ranked, and he would like smash keyboards and like, you know, punch the wall and shit. And he asked his mom like, what do I do when I lose? Like why, like, do you have any advice for like, you know, what to do? Because when I lose, I get so angry and I want to stop. And his mom was like, I can give you a pill that'll give you the exact same feeling as you do whenever you lose. And, you know, you can translate it into like anger or sadness or whatever. It's just the same as like a side effect of any pill, right? And so all you really have to do is you have to wait for it the same as you would wait for like the side effects of a pill to go away. You have to like take some time away from the game, you know, find like a happy place, or, you know, it doesn't matter if you're even like, it doesn't matter what you do, as long as whatever you do doesn't detract from like the process in which you need to like accomplish your goals, right? So when it comes to like losing in ranked, for example, feeling sad or discouraged from going 0-5 in ranked is a normal feeling. But the important part though is that you need to make sure it doesn't interfere with the process and your ability to like continue like working on the game. Like, and again, just to reiterate, losing is actually really beneficial towards like accomplishing your shit. It probably would have been a lot worse for you long term if you had won all 5 of those ranked games and you would have been like, sick, I'm actually in a great spot and I'm like way closer to my goal than I thought I was. I guess I'm not gonna practice tonight, you know? If anything, it's a more accurate representation of where you are, which is a lot better. If it's way better to know exactly where you are on the map of your improvement compared to like trying to like guesstimate where it is based on like how good you feel about the game or how bad you feel about the game. So sometimes, if anything, it's probably better for your goal that you didn't win any game, because it's like, I'm like this far away from it. And now it's like a lot clearer, like the road you need to go on, because you could just go literally look at the games like, okay, you know, did I get shield grab a lot? Did I miss my tough skill a lot? Did I drop my combos? Like, what was it? And now it's like, it's more like the Breath of the Wild map, and like you like a lot of time results are just like the Sheikah towers that just tell you like what the map looks like, you know. Anyway, the TLDR of that is that losing sucks. It doesn't feel good. But it's important to understand what losing is, which is it's not this indication that failure is imminent. It's this required process in order for you to get better. You need to lose and fail in order to know how to get better at things. You don't have a choice. You don't get to go to the gym and have the goal of lifting 200 pounds and then you like don't go to the gym and you just get stronger at home and then you just go from 0 to 100 and one day you'll be strong enough to lift 200 pounds. It's like, no, you have to fail at lifting 40 pounds and then you need to fail at lifting 50 pounds and then you need to fail at lifting 60 pounds. And then eventually you get to the point where you'll be able to lift 200 pounds. But it requires you to go out there and fail a fuck ton. And I promise you that you're going to need to fail an absolute ton in order to like win an amateur bracket. And then who knows, once you're at that point, you'll probably realize that you're comfortable enough with the process to get even bigger goals than that. Just understand like the process of failure is a required and important process, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't feel good. And as long as you like create methods and like techniques to handle a loss better and to, you know, make that pill effect of sadness go, or not even go away, but let it wash away, then you'll be able to, you know, take a loss as like a good sign, or like in the very, not as a good sign necessarily, but you get to benefit from the loss in like, you know, the purest form. It's like the purest form of experience comes from losing. So as long as you don't let the loss like detract from your process, then you're in a really good position. Yep, it's really important to go back, because like how else are you going to learn from your mistakes, you know? Losing in Melee, like, it's not the same as like touching a hot stove, you know? It kind of is. It's like technically you do make decisions and you get bit for them, right? The same way that you would when you touch a hot stove. But the difference is that it's a lot harder to actually interpret what, it's just a complicated thing, you know? It's not as easy as just like, oh, I felt pain when I did that. It's technically it is that simple, and if you're really good at paying attention, then you'll be able to like, you know, make a decision and then immediately get punished for it and then learn from it. But Melee happens too fast. There's too many things and too much information to parse, and that is a skill in itself. That's why you do need to like go and look back and like, you know, grit your teeth through like the embarrassing like feeling of like reviewing a loss or whatever, because it's important. It's just important, and that's probably why you never thought about it. It's because it sucks to do that, but you can't let that get in the way of like your process, you know? The goal is eventually to win the amateur bracket, right? If you just like keep beating your head against the wall, you know, it's gonna be really difficult to get there. And also like at the end of the day, like what is the point of playing all these games ahead of time if you're not going to be able to like thoroughly learn from those experiences, right? It's too hard to just be able to kind of wing it into like, oh, well, I kind of know what happened and I kind of know why I lost, so I'll just keep doing that forever. It's like, no, you know, because one day you're going to be in grand finals of your amateur bracket set, and if you don't know what mistakes you've been making this whole time, then how you're going to get there, you know? Anyway, that's my motivational speech for now. That's probably as deep as I'm going to be able to go in that. No problem. Hungry so hard? Hell yeah. Make sure you go watch a bunch of videos too. There's a lot of resources out there about how to review, and like, you know, people who review their own VODs, you know. You can ask help from a friend, etc.